think what gives it its advantage is the fact that it is much more of an aggressive strategy. Being able to continue to just throw threats down does feel good. Play first. We really need that incubation druid to live, because if not, our hand is not very good. And clearly we need to find a third land. If we can find a third land, I think this hand is just pretty saucy for us. But it kind of boils down to, does the incubation druid live? Okay. So seeing a breeding pool into an opt tells us they are probably on wilderness reclamation, which means the best thing we have in our deck is the Teferi, so we need to get that to stick. I don't know if we can necessarily dirtle around and wait to try to throw it. I think we just have to try to stick it now and see what happens. Or do I wait? No, I think we will wait here. As important as the frilled or the Teferi is, yeah, we'll counter that. Now we have some threats on board, or a threat, I should say. I know this deck is normally removal light. They will play things like shock. So seeing how they tapped like that.
Trust me. You'll thank me later. Don't worry. I got this.
Teferi here now, if it can stay on board, is huge for us, because now they can only function at sorcery speed, so there's no more wilderness reclamation tricks. It's just main phase 1, main phase 2, that's all you get. So hopefully they cannot kill our Teferi. If they do, they do. Seeing how we don't have to worry about counter magic anymore. Oh, let's see here. We'll play the Bronodon.
Here goes nothing.
We will try to attack 3, just to see what they do. We're fine with that. And now we just blow up their search for a Scanta right away. Let's not give them card selection. So any land right now would be great, just because we have our Vivian Reed to shoot the Hydroid Crisis down right now. Oh, lovely. Okay. So take this up.
I've got time.
Let's tear this place.
Shoot the Crisis down.
I've seen worse.
I mean, we're not really doing anything right now, so I don't think they necessarily have to be afraid of what's going on. But seeing how they have to operate under Teferi now, it does greatly hurt this deck. They could have Niv Mizzet, which is bad for us, but now that we have the Vivian Reed, we're either going to find lands or threats every turn. I don't want to say I'm not worried, but I feel very confident in our plays going forward here. We will absolutely eat the 2 for the time being. We'll take up Vivian Reed.
Balance comes.
We'll take the Crisis. We'll take up the Fairy.
Here we go.
Wow. We're just gonna play the Krasis here for 3, or no, 4. Hopefully we keep finding more lands. 1, 2, 3, 4. So right now they can explosion for up to 3 if they have another land. So that gets rid of our Vivian Reed. But they do have to deal with the Teferi first and foremost. I'm not gonna lie, if they get rid of Teferi, we could very well be dead. Hopefully Vivian Reed finds us some Frilled Mystics if she lives. Tick that up.
I've seen things that would break someone like you.
I guess we take the Jadelight Ranger because we can. I'll tick up Teferi.
This might be a bad idea.
Would you like to see what's left of Scum? For the
Wow.
fallen.
Well. So now they have a whole bunch of stuff to deal with here. And I don't want to say they have a ton of outs, because normally the only way this deck can win is by expansion explosioning off with like a Ral in play, which that gets shut down if they are a wilderness deck, or they just expand or explosion for lethal or try to. Right here they do have, if they have a land, a potential explosion for 4, which only gets rid of one of our 2 not so scary walkers, so I think we are okay with that. Seeing as how the incubation druid has been really important for us staying in play, I think we are going to try to put the counters on there just to make it tap for 3. What's up, Casey? How you doing today? How has work been? I lied. We're gonna play our Jade Light here. Library. And library, we're gonna leave the Ugin on top, because at this point here I think we can just embarrass them with the between the Ugin, the Teferi. We're actually just gonna put the Wilderness Wreck back in hand. Vivian, find us a land, please.
Comes.
Actually, we'll just take the Mystic because we can here. Let's see. Vivian Reed, tick that up. Incubation Druid.
The mysteries of life are
To
endless.
adapt the Incubation Druid, because now that it has Vigilance, yeah. Okay, so we know no matter what, we need the Teferi to stick boards. Teferi is important. We can't cut that. I guess Incubation Druid can go, even though it did some work that game. We'll cut the Nissa here. We need the negates. We'll cut the Prison Realms, put in 2 Disdainful Strokes. Actually... Nah, we'll leave the Nissa in. No, I think Teferi's better in this match. We'll cut a J-Light for another Teferi. Try to kill him with walkers here. So I think the reason why we got that last game was because we were able to go underneath them with Teferi. Again, I don't think that Teferi is necessarily good enough to be main, because versus most decks, you don't care if they're acting on your turn and their turn. But for decks like the Ral combo deck, I guess Esper Control, of course, and the Wilderness Wreck decks slash Nexus of Fate decks, it is very good. As you can see though, the plus 1ing in this deck really doesn't do anything, it just gives it more life. I mean, the -3 is a draw, but I don't feel like it's all that great. The card is very oppressive versus the decks that don't want to see it, of course, though. I want to say we keep because we have the Teferi, and I know that's stupid, but we're going to try it. Well, looking at what was played, I guess, over this weekend, because the meta is still sort of developing, there's what I like to call Grixis Bolus, which isn't necessarily Grixis Bolus, but it plays for the Flip Bolas, for the new Planeswalker Bolas, and then it's just a Grixis control shell. Mono Red is still a deck, but I think I won't say most decks, but I think a lot of decks have really good game against it now, so it's not the scariest deck. It seems like Mono Blue kind of fell off the wagon a little bit. It's not really showing up in the numbers it was. Esper Control is still strong. A lot of people are trying to work on the red-blue Ral combo deck. I think the Sultai Explore deck is still really strong. And I think a Sultai Walker's list can be good too. We were playing that earlier today. We went 4-1 in best out of 3. Most decks felt pretty, I don't want to say squishy to it, but our deck ran pretty well, so I have no complaints. I don't really think there's necessarily a best deck right now. People are still trying to fine-tune their lists, figure out their numbers. You know, it does look like Mono Blue might be gone now, though. You don't really see Mono Blue represented anymore, which I'm okay with. I know that's wrong for me to say because I'm a control player, so that kind of went into my tempo / control play, but it was very annoying to sit across from for sure. I think we just wait here. We have to let them ramp. Hopefully they don't have the land. Oh my. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have another land. So next turn we can try to throw our Teferi and have backup to it as well, which is good. But a lot of the walkers from the newest set. So let me see, I need blue, blue, green, green. So blue, green, white, T-Dog. A lot of the Planeswalkers from this newest set gave a lot of decks a push, which is good. Frilled Mystic, baby, please stick. Oh, they might have the Disdainful Stroke or something. If they do here, we might actually be dead, we'll see. Okay, so they just really wanted to copy their take action. But right now the meta is still very open. I'm sure at some point over the next few weeks it'll definitely clamp down. I do think there's definitely room for a Giganimous just like Planeswalker after Planeswalker after Planeswalker deck to be good.
Eureka!
Like a Super Friend style deck. I don't think Red's going anywhere just because Red has so many good tools. Okay, so if they don't have another negate, I feel like we just dookie on them. So we're actually going to try to throw Teferi first because the Ugin is more important. We don't care if they kill the Teferi, as weird as that sounds, because I value Ugin a lot more than I value Teferi. I don't feel like Teferi is one of the more annoying cards to play against in the format anymore. I think there's better ways to deal with it. This last set also printed a ton of really good answers, which I'm happy with as well. A card like D-Spark is fantastic. You know, Narset is really good. It does kind of suck that all the hate cards kind of go into the deck that it's trying to hate on. So that's kind of poopies. But I don't really think it's necessarily the end of the world that it worked that way. I still think there's going to be... I'll go out on a limb and say like 5 legit solid tier 1 decks. I don't think any one will be better than the other one. I think they'll all have good game versus each other. But it's really weird because War of the Spark, in my mind, while it definitely changed the format a little bit, I almost want to say like there's only a handful of cards in my mind that truly impacted the format.
We need to move quickly.
Okay, so don't have negate here. Don't have negate. Please. Oh, yeah.
Long before your kind ever existed.
And we still have Disdainful Stroke mana up? Oh, come on.
Your past is unwritten.
Get out of here with that. I mean, we don't have, I guess, the good Teferi right now, but that's okay. I think this Teferi will carry us lovely. But I know from the open over the weekend, top 4 had 3 red, which I think sucked. But there was Bant Nexus, Bant Midrange, which was an actual mid-range list. That can't be countered, but we're okay with that. Okay, so our Ugin's gonna die. That's okay, because we have Vivian Reed to shoot down his Niv. So that's okay. If they want to blow their turn here, just trying to get our board clean, that's cool. I think that's okay. And there's also been some really interesting like 5 color control decks that have sprung up using the new Niv Mizzet that is really weirdly worded. So I think for right now the standard meta is okay. That's right, baby. You take a look at that Disdainful Stroke, dog. The thing is, though, is he can name Vivian Reed, which does hurt us. If they don't, I would be surprised. But we also have a Hydroid Crisis that's going to be a big boy coming in here, so that's okay too.
You know what? I'm not done yet.
Oh, my man. Okay, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can't do both, but we can go Pteranodon. We're actually going to throw our Vivian Reed down anyway. If he wants to put damage into that, that's fine. So I feel like our Teferi's going this turn. And that's okay.
Time for plan B.
At this point, I think if we find the other Teferi, the game is probably locked up like a Chinese finger trap. Or they're going to attack in, which puts their Niv sideways to kill the Vivian, and we're okay with that too. That's a wasted turn for them.
I'll be back.
That's 5 more damage
Just
away
like
they are
before.
from killing us, which is fantastic. Oh, and then just so everyone knows, if you haven't seen the Twitter um, or our Facebook yet, that we will be taking some personal days this week. Rachel has off till Sunday. Um, I will have makeup stream days for those this week. So let's say I take off tomorrow and I think Thursday for my dad's birthday. I'll probably do a stream Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon. Because those are non-scheduled days, we might do some other stuff. So I might do like Hearthstone for one of those days. Okay, so that can resolve. We're also okay with them pinging us for one.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Only for 4, huh? We're gonna try to counter that. It kind of sucks because we're letting them dig deeper. They could potentially have the counterspell for it as well. But now that they're tapped out, I feel like that's okay. At least for the turn being. So on the days I'm off though, I'll have it posted on the Twitter and on the Facebook earlier in the day, or try to at least, so people know. This next Borderlands stream, whatever day that is, we will have some DLC action. I have to look at what the chronological order is for the DLC, so I can start that. I don't think we get out of this. Let's see here. Okay, so our Bronodon's gonna die, which is okay. You know what? Cancel that. No, I wanted to cancel it. Oh, well, whatever. So now that 3's gonna come in our face because we were stupid about it. Oh, I guess. Oh, that's right. You have to target first. Okay. I don't think we get out of this here. We'll see though. Library for sure. Library for sure. Just pass it. So I have to re-look into what the chronological order is for the Borderlands 2 DLC, and we'll start that again. And again, we may up shifting some of our stuff around. I like having the 2 Borderlands days. I'm fine with those because I love the game. I don't know if I still want to continue with the 2 arena days or not. I can only brew decks in playtests so much, and I don't want to burn myself out because that's normally what I end up doing to myself. And while that's hilarious to hate what I'm doing, I'm not a big fan of that. So I think we might pump the brakes on arena. Still do the Monday night arena because that's kind of like my Monday night magic. We're just going to do this here so we don't have to sit there for every click. That damn Niv Mizzet, it touched us. I still think we actually fought that pretty well though. We're going to take out the Vivian Reed for our 1 Shalai and hope that that helps. I like that my birthday is in 5 months, so I expect something then. Actually, in 5 months, the rotation comes. And I'm hoping when the rotation comes that something other than just Sultai can be the Green-Black X deck. Because right now, like Jund in Standard doesn't look great. Rock is still okay, but I think you should just play Sultai because Hydrate Krasis and having things like Negate, Disdainful Stroke are just too good to kind of like not play. I think we gotta risk keep this hand. I was trying to look into making some Jund decks on our own though, because again we've been hardcore into the brewing phase. But I just think Sultai is too strong to ignore right now. And if I was going to go more Jund, it would be Grixis. Now, I do have a Grixis control list, but it's definitely far from the normal, because a lot of people are playing, like I said, the Grixis Bolas deck. And while I think it's great to have 10 million Bolas in your deck, um, I don't think it's necessarily like the end-all be-all. Okay, so we're going to play the Temple Garden upright. We're not going to attack. And we're going to see what they do. So we will counter that just so they can't ramp. I think next turn we're just going to say whatever, try to jam the Teferi. If they have an answer, they do. If they don't, that's fine too. First we just attack here. Fire everything. Yeah, okay, so they got the counterspell, which is fine. They do not have the counterspell. That is interesting. Unless they actually board in Spell Pierces. Then I might cry a little bit if I get caught off guard by a Spell Pierce. Oh, they do. Oh, they don't. Okay. So now this is the best chance for our deck to actually take this game over.
I'm known for my excellent timing. Let's try this.
But again, I'm thinking of taking one of the Borderlands, or not the Borderlands, excuse me, one of the arena days off. I think one day a week is good enough, especially with us normally hitting about a 3-hour stream. That's normally 2 to 4 solid decks instead of 2 days a week of either repeating decks over and over again or brewing complete garbage that just does nothing. It's fun that way, but it's not the coolest in the world, I guess. So. Let's see here. So we'll tick this up.
Here goes nothing.
We will swing both. We'll see if they block or not. Yeah, see, so they're expecting to try to go into our Teferi. So we'll just throw our Hydro Krasis for 3. And another Teferi there is actually very, very bomb. So now our Krasis is bigger. They have to operate at sorcery speed. This game's looking really good for us right now. We have negate for their next turn. Well, we don't cause them to discard cards, and we don't really sacrifice, so what are they naming? I think this Tamio is fantastic. I would love to really put her in a deck, but I don't know. I don't know if I have a use for the way it operates. What would they be looking for? A Niv Mizzet would bail them out. A Sorcerer's Spyglass would be huge for them. Okay, so they bricked all together, it looks like. Okay. So if they go -3 next turn, what do they get that's good? What is nothing? Okay. We will absolutely just turn everything sideways here and go with them. I think we smell blood. We got to go in. Because what are they returning that's good? They have nothing good in their bin. So they're strictly Tamioing for something to try to end the game. We'll go green. We'll go green. We'll go green. This way we have up negate mana in case something goes wrong. We will leave that on top. Because Ugin's a pretty badass man. Or Dragon Spirit. Or whatever it is. Okay. Okay. So I think we're 3-0 with this deck right now. I think.